Hi again, just back to talk a little more about TREX by bandwagonhunter.com. Yeah, so that session then so I started the session and I went to bed on Saturday night. I didn't stay up too late, so I think it was around midnight. And we're now, say, 36 hours later, and it's a just under 1.2% increase, so 30 bucks, or just over £20 sterling, £22 sterling. And yeah, so that's pretty reasonable. I did check it last night, hoping to get 1% within 24 hours. It just didn't happen that way. But it kind of goes up and down the performance of it, and but you take it overall over a longer period, it seems to do quite well. So you're talking 1.2% over 36 hours isn't too bad. Some of the figures I was using yesterday saying it might take 8 or 9 months to double the size of your portfolio. I was actually being quite pessimistic, which I don't want to claim anything that's not true, So at this stage, I'd rather stay on the pessimistic side. But if you do the maths yourself, you can see it doesn't take 8 or 9 months to double the size of your portfolio at this rate. Um, okay, so the first thing I really wanted to mention was how it actually calculates its own performance, because essentially the volatility in the markets means that the value up here at the top left, that your value can go up or down. Based on the prices of digital currency. But what TREX is actually measuring is its own performance. So it wants to see, comparing how much you own if TREX hadn't started running in automatic mode, and compare that to what you actually own now because it did start in automatic mode. So all it does really is just takes a note of how much you have in all your wallets when the run started. So it knows how much you would have now at current prices if it didn't do anything, and compares that to what you actually have after it's done. As I say, 160 of these loans, 109 of them being paid back. There's still 51 open, so it's paying back, but it's just ticking over and it's working well. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight that's what the percentage change actually was. It's just actually a measure of what you would have had if TREX didn't run compared to what you do have because TREX did run. So it kind of ignores whether your value of your portfolio has went up or down. So your portfolio might have went up by £1,000 or might have went down by £1,000, but TREX is actually comparing. It's measuring its own performance really, not market performance. Okay, so yeah, the next thing I want to talk about was the payment mechanism. So it's half an Ethereum Classic a week, and you can see that's about $7. You can see I've made $30 in a day and a half. So $7 a week when you're making $30 in a day and a half doesn't seem too bad. There's a little caveat to that though. There's another thing built into the payment mechanism where there's this payment buffer in automatic trading mode. Now this fills the more money you have in it, the quicker this fills. So for users with small amounts of money, like less than $10,000, this will fill really slowly, and the more you have, the quicker it'll fill. So the idea is for users who are quite wealthy, or maybe have 10, 50, 150 or half a million quid in it, they actually pay. They'll actually pay the same size payment, which is about $7. It'll just happen more regularly. So for this here one with a couple of grand in it, you might get a payment every 2 days. But for a bigger one, it might be happening several times in a day, and for a huge one, it might be happening every hour or more. Yeah, but I don't actually have to pay this now. So as the user, then what I can actually do is just stop auto trading and start a brand new session, and it'll let me start it because I've made a payment within the last week. If you see what I mean. So I can start three or four of these sessions and grow my portfolio if it worked like this, by $120, no problem. With only one payment of $7, as long as you close down auto trading before the payment buffer hits 100%, then you don't have to make a payment. The other thing is these payments can be authorized through Bittrex. If you disable two-factor authentication, then the payment needs to be authorized by you through a Bittrex email. If you do have two-factor authentication enabled, then the whole thing's automatic. But as I say, the payment is always the payment. It's always at half an Ethereum Classic. It'll never go up without changing it. You'll be notified if it ever does go up, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to be a surprise. Put it that way. Okay, so the reason why I might have to put it up is if because the prices fluctuate so much. I have to have a mechanism for controlling the price of the software usage. But I don't intend to surprise users and turn them away from the service. I want to provide a good service, good value, and transparent, honest service to you. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna stop this session then. So it's up towards 1.3%. That's pretty good. Okay, so the payment buffers. Yeah, there's another. You see, this is how the payment works. Actually, see the way we get a repayment ratio trigger. So one of the loans paid back. So 6% profit on that one, and it looked like it was heading in the wrong direction. So TREX decided to pay it back. Now, as you notice, the payment buffer jumped by up around 1%, just over 1%, I think it was. Um, Due to one ratio repayment, and you can see in a day and a half I've had about 100 of these, so it's going to take it to get up towards 120 before actually we try to make a payment. But you can see this happens pretty slow. Like, these ratio repayments aren't that frequent that you're going to be surprised. You do get a chance to close it, but if you don't get a chance to close it and the payment's made, unfortunately, you're paying for what you've just used, if you know what I mean. So you really do want to close it if you want to avoid making payments. The idea is, if you have a larger portfolio, this becomes harder to actually use the bot without making payments. And I just wanted to enable access to people who don't have tens of thousands of pounds and still want to get involved in digital currency or automatically trade in digital currency. And so this will work for a small size portfolio or large size portfolio, whatever yours is. It'll work fine for it. Okay, so I'm just going to close this down. Now, the only way to stop it auto trading is to close it, because this disable and automatic only works when you first start it. There's reasons behind this. I wanted to always make sure an automatic trading session got a fresh start effectively with clear memory and things. So I'm just going to shut this down then. Okay.